feed into me. Although I didn't do it right. Hello, welcome to the show on this 29th. I'm coming a little earlier. I usually do this in the Saturday afternoon. Make sure I can hear yeah, you guys can hear me, right? I usually do this in the afternoon, and, well, it's not afternoon, it's morning, because I do have quite a day today. So I guess I need to update from last week. Well, last week was my birthday. I streamed for my birthday, and my mom was out of the hospital, and unfortunately that night she did pass away. It was not unexpected. I did have a conversation with the doctor at the ER, and it was like she hadn't been drinking, like she hadn't been eating or drinking or anything. So it was, basically there was a lot of kidney damage from dehydration. It's like, well, we can pump her full of fluids, but she's not eating or drinking. It's going to come back again. We're going to be back in a situation in like a week or so. So I said, let's just let nature take its course, and then she did pass away that night. So it was my birthday night that she passed away. So, well, that's the story with that. And then finally, the ordeal of having to deal with the disease of like Alzheimer's and stuff like that finally came to an end. And so took care of the arrangements, very simple. So I kind of joke with my friends. I went from a loser living in his mom's house to now a swinging back to his own place. Well, not quite yet. I got to finish all the transfers of details, but that's all taken care of because everything's in a trust. Easy deal. So there's that, and I'm already out of liquid, and I just got here like 20 minutes ago. I've been fussing with my internet, trying to get to work in the last 20 minutes, and I drank all of my liquid. It's not, by the way, every time I drink a soda or like a 7-Eleven cup on camera, like there's some commenter like just berating me for my life choices, and that's fine, I suppose. But what you'll have that this is not cola. This is actually whale lard. I drink straight whale lard, 100% pure fat whale lard. That's how I maintain this svelte figure of mine, is pure, unadulterated whale lard. Okay. All right. Hey, thanks for your guys' condolences. I appreciate that. It's one of those things where it's like I've been dealing with it for like 8 years, so it's good to just kind of let her be in peace. It's a different place, it's so, I mean, for me, honestly, the last 5 months she's been in like a board and care, so like my life has not really changed much of all. Just the knowing that I posted a picture of a Kia minivan that could fit 11 people to take the whole family for a ride. And I'm like, cool, my whole family is me. I could go for a family road trip right now by myself, because that's all right. Now, okay. So I promise you, this is like a live chat. So I have to go in about 1 hour because I have 2 shows of Little Mermaid to do today. That's why I'm dressed in pit uniform black, totally black. And if you're wondering about my glasses, these are not my regular glasses. I usually wear glasses, the transition lenses, but the thing is I wear them all the time, so they get scratched up. So when I'm going down and playing music in a pit, I start seeing the notes start getting a little like blurry, and like, what is it? And I think what it is the glasses are a little bit scratched. So I had these extra pair. I bought these when I bought the other ones, just to try them out. I didn't particularly like the way I looked in them, so I don't use them. And these are not transition. These are just regular glass. I just wanted to use these for like, reading, but I never use them. So I'm trying out the new glasses, and I think I can read the music a lot better with these new glasses because they're not scratched up. But I forgot to take the glasses out of the pit, so I'm wearing the ones I wore. I ran out of the pit last night. Go home because you leave pretty quickly because you've been there for 4 hours, and today I'll be there for like a good 10 hours. So I forgot to change my glasses. So that's why the deal with the glasses. This is what the deal with the glasses is for today. I mean, it's not permanent. I'm going to go back to the other glasses. I just forgot them in the pit of the musical. So we had one question come up. Let's pull it up here. So I want to open this up to you guys. I'm not going to be here too long. I didn't see Oppenheimer 70 millimeter because like the only tickets available for the next week solid are like front row seats, and there's no way in hell you're going to get me to sit in a 70 millimeter screening in the front row. That's just stupid. So I'm not doing that. I might end up just seeing Oppenheimer in regular old fashioned IMAX. Ew, digital IMAX. Oh. Anyhow, I just might see it in regular format, like regular IMAX format, regular premium IMAX format. Tips for choosing a camera for a documentary. So the good question, I think people don't think about like the logistics of shooting documentary. Generally speaking, like unless you're my friend who works for one of the biggest Pachanga, one of the biggest resort casinos in California, like the biggest Indian gaming, Native American gaming, I guess you call them Indian gaming outfits that can literally afford a server with a petabyte of data. We were talking last night. They have a petabyte of data for their media services. Your documentary is more about limited. Really, the more important thing is capturing footage for your storage. Like if people get obsessed with documentary and they're thinking they're going to shoot raw formats and shoot all this high data rate. It's like it's going to hurt you unless you're prepared for it, unless you have the hardware backup to run for that. So realistically, I would say shoot a low bitrate format if you can, especially if you don't have the technology, if you don't have the hardware to store it and run, hours of interviews. Just don't do it. Go low end, because the documentaries are not necessarily known for looking the most amazingly cinematic. They don't have to look that cinematic. They just need to look decent, So I would say go with any kind of ENG camera is a possibility. You want interviews. You want them to look a little cinematic. So any kind of like a C100 is a good example of a probably a great camera for documentary. If you shoot 1080, that's fine too. I would say look toward like a C100, that kind of line. Sony has the FX, no, not the FX, G series, I believe, of cameras. So they're in the relatively brand new. It would be like $2,000 or $3,000. Used, maybe a lot less than that. So look into the used market. With documentary, don't think I need to shoot raw, red camera raw, 2-to-1 compression or whatever the low 8-to-1 compression. Like my friend who shoots for this internet this casino, he says like when they do documentaries they use like the highest, one of the higher compression formats, because it's not that super important. Yeah, Canon C300. Canon C300 is popular for docs. I mean, you can't go wrong with the C300. You're watching me on a C200. I think the C200 is probably the more economical camera for independents, because C300 is a little bit more corporate priced. It's priced for corporate work, really. Like a C200 is sort of like that. It's got almost all the features of C300, except like time code and stuff like that. And it's got the RAW format, which I don't know if the C300 has added to that now, but yeah, the C300 is definitely. C100 I think is probably for like really independent documentaries. C300 is for corporate, C200 is for like the indie filmmaker wannabe. C70 is honestly my go-to camera now. It's my favorite camera. And it's one of those cameras I call my last camera, because it's like, or my forever camera, because there's no reason for me to ever buy another camera. The C70 does everything I could possibly want it to do. And if I needed anything more, I would just rent it, because the C70 just ticks all the boxes, all of them. It's got great color. It's got amazing dynamic range. It's got raw capabilities. It shoots pretty high frame rate if you want to get to like 120, I think, 180, I think you can do. Man, my lips I'm getting like super parched already. And I drank all my liquid. I drank all my pure 100% blue whale lard. You'd think that would last longer. Live from California. This, ladies and gentlemen, it's the frame rate guy. I guess I've been talking a lot about frame rates. I was reading a lot of comments on my frame rate videos of the last yesterday, the 20,000 frame rates per second, and I'm struck by the fact, and I may what I was going to maybe title this live stream this because I hadn't seen Oppenheimer yet. There's, I don't want to talk about Barbie movies some more because it's like everyone else. I've been having interesting conversations with Count for Comment, and he showed me some stuff. I like getting other outside perspectives, especially perspectives that aren't in the camp of this is garbage and like let's click hate it. Let's just make it, make rage bait videos about it. I like hearing other perspectives. This morning I was watching Chrissy Mayer and her girlfriends went and saw the movie, and they went in expecting to hate it, and then they all had a good time because from their perspective it was their childhood. It's their playing with Barbies kind of took them back to their youth, rather than dealing with like the modern political fallouts of gender politics, whatever that, So I like hearing different perspectives like that because I just can't get tired of people raging on stuff. That's why I made that cats video because everyone was hating on cats. Everyone was hating on cats, and I had to give some sort of like a counter to the fact that everyone's just hating on cats all the time. Anyhow, what is frame rate anyway? Do they matter? Yes, of course. I know Rigel 7. Rigel 7's going to clip me out of context and then post it on Twitter. That's what his job is to have me say something like, Cats is the best movie ever made. John Hess, 2023. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but it's only popular because of the contrast it has with Barbie. I don't know if the movie was released by itself or by itself without Barbie. Yeah, it's Oppenheimer is not doing that well, right? I mean, compared to Barbie. Barbie's like gangbusters. Oppenheimer is a 3-hour movie about a super serious topic, and it is directed by Christopher Nolan. So all the Christopher Nolan folks are going to go see it. Like me, I'm going to go see it. But it's not like a mass market appeal that Barbie is. Yeah, I think Count says, I think it's the opposite. Nolan is still a brand. I think would Barbie have? I think Barbie would do fine without Oppenheimer, because I don't think anybody went to see Barbie because Oppenheimer necessarily is out there. Rigel says, I saw Oppenheimer, not Barbie yet. The reason why I saw Barbie first was because I thought it would be more interesting to talk about. Because when I heard, first it started coming out, I started hearing all the critical reviews were very like negative about it. It's like, well, and I was short on time, so it's like I can go see Oppenheimer at 12, like a 10 o'clock showing of Oppenheimer, and be done at 2 a.m., or I could go see it like 11 o'clock. Barbie movie and be done at 1 a.m. kind of a thing. That's the choice I was making basically, and I decided, well, I'll go see the Barbie movie first, and I'll save Oppenheimer because Oppenheimer it'll probably last longer, but also because Barbie was like super fresh and like everyone was talking about. So I made the choice to talk about Barbie, and it paid off. If you look at my numbers, I mean, I got like way more views on my Barbie review live stream than I did on any of my live streams. I think it's like doing like 6,000 if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that. I always hate being wrong, so I always have to look things up. Like I can't remember names or anything, so I always have to look up stuff. Let's see, Video Studios. So that's why I decided to go see Barbie first. I originally thought I was going to go see Oppenheimer first because I thought Oppenheimer would be a downer and Barbie might be an upper. And it turns out maybe the Barbie's a downer too. I mean, I like Barbie. That's the thing. I appreciated it more than I think some people online. Certainly more than like Ben Shapiro appreciated. I don't think Ben Shapiro liked it much at all. Now, Barbie movie had like 4,400, which is like twice what my Indiana Jones video was going. All right, what else is saying? Rigel 7 says, I thought Oppenheimer was good, but it felt like a 3-hour trailer for itself. I heard that from, I was watching Red Letter Media's take on it, and they were interesting. Yep. Let me look. TV says completely booked out at London IMAX, even all the 4 and 8 a.m. shows. There's a 4 a.m. Barbie or Barbie, Oppenheimer show. Can you imagine it? Like I got like sorry Bob, I can't hang out at the pub tonight because I've got to go see Oppenheimer tomorrow at 4 a.m. Yeah, so I think what Rigel 7 was talking about the trailer was the music in Oppenheimer made you felt like it was a constant trailer for itself. Yeah, so account says I think they'll be fine without each other, but the memes are everywhere. Yeah, the memes I partake in them. It started off as a meme because we realized, hey, look, film nerds like us, we don't look at just the name Barbie. We look at the name Gerwig attached to Barbie. We know that Gerwig's an Oscar-nominated director. I think I know the picture. Didn't the picture win? But there's Oscars, floating around her sphere, and we look at Oppenheimer and we know Christopher Nolan. Like we don't look at these movies necessarily as the brand Oppenheimer, Barbie. We look at Nolan versus Gerwig kind of a thing, and then it's funny. It's funny because like, oh, let's see both movies because they're so polar opposite. And that's the thing. Like movie theaters, you want to schedule things that are opposites. You don't want to schedule two. You don't want to put Mario movie and Sonic the Hedgehog movie in the same theater because they're going to cannibalize each other. So you want to put Sonic and you want to put like Remains of the Day, something where it's like the kids will go to one and the parents will go to the other. That's what the thinking with Barbie movie. We'll put Barbie movie, and then we'll put Nolan in his serious war. I am Death, Destroyer of Worlds. So they wouldn't eat each other. But then nerds like us who like love Gerwig, or at least are aware of Gerwig, the cineasts started making a joke because of the thing. I was sincere in wanting to see both because of Gerwig. If a Barbie movie was directed by anybody else, not anybody else, if the Barbie movie was directed by someone that I didn't really know very well, I wouldn't have saw it. I really wouldn't have saw it. Wouldn't have seen it. I don't know which was grammatically correct. But, man, my mouth is getting so dry. I definitely get some water. I have a mind to watch Oppenheimer in 2 sittings once I get it at home, and the runtime is out of control. Hollywood movies are definitely running out of control. Like, we need to normalize the 90-minute movie. That's what even the Russo brothers put that on a tweet, and the tweet blew up. Like, Russo brothers, even though you're responsible for Endgame, 90-minute movie, please. 90-minute movie. I only know one person who did the Barbenheimer double feature. Oh, a little bit of liquid. Oh, man, there we go. It said it was not worth it. I probably would agree with that. I haven't seen Oppenheimer. Still thinking about whether I want to see it in theater, just in my room with a remote and turn the volume down and subtitles. Gerwig wins this one. I don't think necessarily that Gerwig wins. It's that the property of Barbie wins, because I feel like, well, I know for sure. I don't know. Here's the thing. I think there is a culture war. There are culture warriors that now will kind of give a stink eye to Greta Gerwig, and I don't think she deserves that. Of course, maybe that was inevitable. I don't think she deserves, because I think she's a lot more nuanced and thoughtful than just the what would they call the woke mobsters. I don't think she's woke. I think she's default liberal. I don't think she's like drinking Kool-Aid. I think she's just that's what I thought. I thought it was, women should have equality. Well, of course they should. There's like, I was telling my friend yesterday, I was like, there's a default liberal position where it's like, yeah, you want to be on the side of social justice. Why wouldn't you? It's just, do we take the next step? And then how much can you take? How much freedom do you have in a movie called Barbie, which is being paid for by Mattel? I don't know. I don't know. Probably not that much. Jack Ripper says, I love listening to Gerwig talk about classic film. Her passion is infectious. Of course, I know, that's the thing. Like, I like listening to Gerwig. I like her. honestly. If it's gonna be simping real bad for me, I'm like, like I would love to find someone like Gerwig to make films with, because she's interesting, she's talented, she's thoughtful, you know. But you have like Ben Shapiro giving a 43-minute review, bashing freaking, being all upset about it, and it's like, you're not really getting the movie. I was just driving in like, I don't think he's really good at being. He's not. In the words of Jordan Peterson, I don't think he's got a lot of trait openness. I don't think so. I think it's very limited. It's like the way you hear him talk about art, it's like everything has to be a certain way. Oh, you have to resolve it this way. You have to resolve it. And it's like, well, if everything has to resolve that way, then it's kind of gets boring after a while. Like I can literally just see the ending of every movie. Like when you get a certain age, like when you're young, a movie can like end any way. You're like, what's going to happen at this movie? What's going to happen? But when you get older, like, yeah, I know this is if I know this is not a tragedy, then I know that the good guy is going to triumph in the end. So I'm not surprised if I told you, hey, James Bond survives at the end. You're like, oh, that's not really a spoiler, is it? Except for the last one, right? Spoilers. But, if I told you, in the end, the good guy will win, you're like, oh, all right, I get that. But that's the thing. It's like, I feel like I'm really high in the trait openness. Like, I'm really open to different stuff. Like, I am super open, like way more open than some of my friends. So, like, that's why I can go with cats, because I'm, like, so open. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. Let's just fuck it. Let's just have cats dancing and singing, and I'm just gonna go with it. Except for that cockroach scene, that was disturbing. But whatever, we're over it. Let's just have that. Oh, Skimbleshanks can really dance. Man, that guy can freaking dance. That's pretty cool. And whereas someone that's not open, like, ooh, Skimbleshanks, he's wearing a leotard. That's gay. Ugh. The disgust trait, right? I'm like, oh. Whatever floats your boat, pal. Oh, very important. Pepe says, I just saw Oppenheimer and it's a real banger. Thank you, Pepe. That was excellent. That was excellent. Well done. Very important. Pepe said, I am deeply closeted. That's what Norm Macdonald used to say, right? He would say, like, I'm a deeply closeted homosexual. It's like, when you're coming out of closet. No! Of course not. I'm not gay. I'm a deeply closeted homosexual. Yeah. I left this in another comment. If I don't know about any of the culture or context surrounding Barbie, I watched this 30 years later, I easily would call it an anti-feminist film. It's kind of... That's one way to read it. That's the thing. That's what it irks me, like when... I'm throwing Ben Shapiro in there because he's the most easy target, right? But Ben Shapiro, Critical Drinker, and Nerdrotic, and all those folks that just hated Barbie. It's like there's another way to read the film that's not the way you're reading it. I think we carry into movies certain grudges and things. So I get that too with my frame rate videos, right? Like I have people commenting on my frame rate video that didn't watch it. Have no idea what it is. They're responding to the title. They're responding to their expectations. So you're walking into a movie like Barbie with expectations about, like, being a movie that hates men. Okay, and you see it that way. You look at it as a movie that hates men, and you're going to find it. But if you're willing to like assess it from just get rid of some of that. Like, here's another example. So I was thinking about this. So I've been seeing a lot of pro messages about this. There's a speech in Barbie movie. I know we're going to talk about Barbie. We're always going to talk about Barbie, right? Audience capture in full effect. I did a stream on this. Like 3 weeks ago. I don't think I think everybody's like, whatever, John. Audience capture. But like, it's true. Audience capture, it affects you. Like as a reviewer, I think they genuinely hate the movie. I think Ben Shapiro genuinely, he's not acting. He's not like secretly going home like, oh, I love that movie so much, but I'm going to go online and just, no, he's affected by his audience. It makes him more extreme in his viewpoints. So anyhow, my point about, so there's that speech that America Ferrera, I got her last name right. And I didn't realize that, when she was younger, she was a lot heavier. So I knew the name, but she looks great. I mean, well, there we go, being, fat phobic. Anyhow, there's a speech in there she's giving about like, how hard, it's impossible to be a woman. You have to look skinny, but not too skinny. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this. And my instant reaction was, honey, I totally get what you're saying. I feel for you, but half of that applies to men. And I had to, in many respects, that speech instigated me a feeling of reaction, of defensiveness, right? And I think this is not just me. It's not just male, whatever. It's not anybody. It's not. I think in our culture we've seen that speech attached to it's impossible to be a woman. Therefore, fuck you, men. All right, and I added that second part. Like that's not there in this monologue. The monologue is how impossible it is to be a woman, and it's true. Okay, I agree, 100%. I wanted to be heard myself and to say it's impossible to be a man as well, but that's not the point of the speech. The point of the speech is speaking to her experience. And it's not like I need to shut up or anything. No, I need to just say, you're right. You're right. It's impossible. It's also, but don't, I think maybe my mansplaining or my male thing is trying to fix it, to try to say, you're not the only one with a burden. But just because you're not the only one going through this burden doesn't mean your burden doesn't exist. And that's like my epiphany was like, yeah, shoot, you're right. It's impossible to be a woman. It's also impossible to be a man. Don't pretend like it's not, but just because it's impossible to be a man doesn't mean it's not impossible to be a woman too. It's just, that's what I mean. All right, what do we got? What is everyone talking about? She quit the whale lard. I know. I should do that. I should try not doing the whale lard. I maybe should go with like, underprivileged baby fat. That's what I should do. Is that too far? Is that way too far? Underprivileged baby fat? I mean, it's full of stem cells. Oh man, jeez. I'm really in a dark mood. I mean, I'm always kind of dark, but kind of dark. I know some people who strongly say they will never watch any Barbie movie in their whole lives. They see Barbie as infantile, shallow, stupid, shameful. They will go see Oppenheimer. Why not? Sure. That's what I mean. Like, it's like that trait openness. I'm just open to be anything. That's kind of true. Il Rain says it's not impossible to be a man and woman. It's society brainwashing us. It's not even our society's brainwashing. It's ourselves that are brainwashing ourselves. Because who is it telling you that you need to lose weight? It's society. But who is society? It's ultimately you. It's your own head telling you to do that. I mean, there are plenty of people that can just say, yeah, that's what society says, but whatever. I'll do what I want. I do what I want. So I offloading the responsibility to society, I feel, is like a mistake. It's like you need to take responsibility for yourself too, ultimately. Yeah, the patriarchal real world. Christy Mayer had a point about that. She said like the way the patriarchy is presented in Barbie is a child's take on patriarchy. Like the whole movie is a child's view. Like I was saying on your comments, I was saying like it's so little girls play with Barbie and they make up stories about Barbie. Little boys play with G.I. Joe. We make up stories about G.I. Joe. But the whole movie is like a meta because it's Greta Gerwig playing with her Barbies, which are Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. So it's sort of, and I feel like the play on the play is like a child playing with Barbie and telling a story about Barbie going to the real world and this patriarchy, which the child doesn't really understand. The child doesn't understand like the implications or the reality of the real world. It's a child's view of the real world, right? It's completely, it does not reflect reality. It's just the child's vision of the real world. And I feel like that reading of it's much more, it's much more interesting to me. Thomas Hedden said, I saw Oppo in 70 millimeter, and there was some gate weaving, which was disappointing. It was horizontal. It was both horizontally from the IMAX film and vertically from the 7 millimeter. Maybe the art of projection is lost. Yeah. You know, there's not a whole lot of 70 millimeter films being projected, so maybe I should see it at IMAX. Matthew says, Jon Favreau, who directed Lion King remake, said he prefers simple skies in films because beautiful skies are not realistic. Kubrick said, I see realistic every day. Cinemas shouldn't be unique. I'm more on Kubrick's side. I just finished a very big project for the city of Temecula. I'll probably, when it releases, I'll probably do something on this channel about it because I did a lot. And I replaced most of the skies because they just... Well, the commercial is a fantasy, so it's trying to present the city I live in a very fantastical light. So just clear blue skies is kind of boring. You know, you want the fantasy, beautiful clouds and, you know, beautiful stuff. Say it isn't so? What do you mean? Like, I'm not that special. I can't get tickets to IMAX 70 millimeter if they're already, like, all sold out. Yeah, divide and conquer, but are the messages, are they taken to heart for some? That's the problem, you know? Like, I don't want to get canceled and all that, but like the tremendous focus on trans people in the last, and I'm not talking about real people like more questionable trans, like, you know, like the non-binaries. Like, who said you have to be binary? Like, or who said you have to be, like, you'll say, I'm non-binary. Well, you're a woman or you're a man. But who says you have to be the qualities of a man? You're just a man. That's just a fact. Kind of like I say, it's, you know, 24 frames a second is the frame rate of cinema. Like, all right, that's just the fact. Then I can bend that to whatever I want. But like, who says you have to do? It's society, right? Society's telling us who you have to be. It's like, no, just the facts are facts. Yeah, you're a man, and you like theater. You like to wear dresses. Well, whatever. Who cares? You won't get canceled. Don't be afraid to tell your opinion. I know. I shouldn't be afraid, but I get sucked in. I try to avoid getting sucked into political debates because they're not good. That's why I stick only to arguing about 24 frames a second. That's all I do is I just sit and argue 20. I compartmentalize my online like combative back and forth commentary. I try to stay out of politics because it's like I have my own politics. And I'm not going to convince anybody. Maybe I can make some way on 24 frames per second. Are you watching my live stream? No, thank you. I mean, I try to do this every week to try to keep things going. It's partly therapy for me because it's fun. I love doing this live stream. I love hanging out with you guys. Yeah, thanks for hanging out for the first, talking to live. Anyhow. Oh, your response was meant to be sympathetic, not judgy. I know. My friend's like, you can't get tickets unless you plan them like 2 weeks out. Like 2 weeks out to get a ticket for 70 millimeter IMAX. And I would have to drive like 60 minutes to go see the film. So I was like, I'm just going to see it in regular IMAX. I'll see it in regular IMAX. I'll do a review about it in regular IMAX. I'll get that one guy that says, you didn't see the movie unless you saw it in 70 millimeter IMAX. Oh, I went and saw Avatar. Oh, you didn't see Avatar unless you saw it in 70, whatever. No, they didn't have 7 millimeter. Unless you saw it in IMAX, Atmos, Dolby, 3D, mother, stick a dildo in your ass. Oh, sorry, whoa, how did that go? Like, no, Avatar. Like, relax. Yeah, this guy went to town on me for not seeing Avatar in like whatever. He's like, you are not giving a review of this movie unless you saw it with literally a fist up your butt for the entire, like when the action starts, like a fist just comes out and just like starts pounding you in the butt, like that like that Sunny in Philadelphia bicycle. Like unless you saw it that version, you have no clue what you're talking about. That's how annoying these motherfucking idiots are. That's how, like, okay, so one of the titles of a stream I had an idea for was the entire internet is a game of telephone. That's all it is. It's just a game of telephone. Like, literally, we have people online, like me, like, name your favorite YouTuber. They do a live stream or they do a video, okay, and then what happens is, ever hear news about it, it's literally like someone playing a game telephone. Oh, John said he liked the movie Cats. Oh, John liked that weird movie about musical cats. Oh, John likes weird movies. Oh, John is a furry. Oh my God, John wants to bang cats. Oh, and it just goes and just like, bleh. And it's literally, I see it, and you guys are joking and say, frame rate guy. I see it in frame rates. Like Blurbusters will say something on the website, or talk about something, and then telephone comes to me. 24 frame rates per second should die. Like, okay, telephone. Everything's I've gotten my arguments with the 24 frame rate stuff. Like it's always about, because somebody said the human eye has like 576 megapixels of resolution. Like, no, it doesn't. Like it maybe have that many cells, but it doesn't have that kind of resolution. And if it has resolution, it's only in a small portion of. But you heard that little bit, telephone. It just becomes just this nonsense. The other thing I was thinking, like also like a movie like Barbie. Like, oh, my friend who watches like Ben Shapiro religiously. Oh, it's a horrible movie. I heard he's telling me like, he's telling me all about this movie, which he didn't watch because it's telephone. It's like I really can't stand it when somebody explains a movie to me and like has a really deep opinion about a movie they haven't watched because they heard a reviewer talk about it. So anyhow, I think you guys are still responding to the whole fist up the butt Avatar experience. It's called Avatar: The Fisting Experience. You just every time you're on the spaceship and like the boom you get hit, it's like a fist just boom right in your butt. And some people like that. Some people kind of spread their butt cheeks. Never mind. Oh, we're getting real dark here, folks. This is too early to be this dark. It's only 11:09 here. I've got to go about 11:30 or so, just to warn you guys. So the jokes about the fisting Avatar experience is probably going to be limited to the next 20 minutes or so. Just fair warning. Fair warning. Saw Way of the Water in IMAX, Laser, Dolby Cinema, and home LG TV at 4K. It's all trade-offs. The Way of Water, which was that? Oh, Avatar. I was saying the Shape of Water. The Shape of Water has a very different. They don't use the fisting. They use just straight up it's almost like a bidet, right? In those scenes, it's literally they shoot a bidet up your butt. That's how Shape of Water. That's a joke that cuts only the people that have watched Shape of Water. Like I have friends my friends are like saying how freaking creepy a Shape of Water is. It's like, you guys never watched Shape of Water and you're telling me it's like a perverted movie because she has sex with a fish man. Well, they don't show the sex. And it's metaphor. It's as creepy as Beauty and the Beast. It's sort of Beauty and the Beast. the whole and Del Toro is just weird. That's why we like Del Toro. But yeah, the whole shooting the water up your bum hole is a little bit overkill. I was dying to go pee while watching Oppenheimer. That's why you gotta get the Barbenheimer popcorn cup. So you finish the popcorn, and then you've got a chamber pot. It's brilliant. It's the most amazing piece of marketing, you know. And it's like, you know, and then for fun, you can like, oh, you know, basically when you're doing your business in the bowl shaped bomb thing, you just pretend like you're dousing the victims of Hiroshima. Oh, look at a little cancer. Hey, here we go. Here you go. Oh. That that is dark. You see, I'm in a dark mood right now. Okay, if you people are going to cancel me, I'm joking and doing it in a terrible way because I can't take anything seriously right now. Do you guys not get that? Do you think it's necessary to add sex in films? I wish there was a lot more sex in films. There needs to be so much sex in films that we should just fill it full of sex. I'm totally on board for sex in films. In fact, I've been I'm a pervert. I'm a total freaking pervert. I try to find and download as many Russ Meyer movies because I'm kind of fascinated by Russ Meyer and the whole the sexploitation movies of the 70s. I have no problem with, you know, sex in film. I think it adds production value. Frankly, I'm sorry, I'm not I'm not prudish on that point. There was I did a interview. If you go, I don't know if it's still up. I don't think it is. I did a interview with the creators of an independent film called Virgin Alexander, which is one of the best like indie movies I saw when I was at the Las Vegas Film Festival. This is like 12 years ago, a long time ago. And it's about a story about a virgin who is like trying to save his mother's house and then turns up the mother's house into like a brothel, essentially. So they were saying like it didn't feel like a movie until the actresses got there and like realized, oh shit, this is a real movie. Because the women just kind of elevated the movie. This is incredibly, I'm sure, ladies, if there are any in the audience, I don't know if there are any. There might be a couple. You know, that's the way, unfortunately, men think is, you know, we get together, we make a movie, but when the actresses show up and like, oh, shit, it's a real movie now. Oh, we got to like, we got to get serious. We got to get serious. You have the opposite opinion, but that's okay. Sex is John's happening, baby. It freaks him out. And it freaks him out, baby. Yeah, baby. I just don't want to deny sex. Like maybe you guys are. I mean, if you want to get super psychologically, you want to just torment and just psychologically to, I am Asian and I'm overweight. And I think those two things together kind of make me incredibly impervious to sex. So I don't think any woman finds me attractive. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, my growing up, my impression was that no girl ever was interested, like repulsively disinterested in me. When I was in 7th grade, I remember walking like with my trumpet case, which is a big, like burgundy case. I was just walking around, you know, I'm a nerd, I'm a kid. I was such a nerd that in 4th grade I wore suspenders because I thought it'd be cool to wear suspenders because I'm a nerd. I'm turning to Sam Kinison in a second here. But I was walking, you know, middle school walking, and this girl comes in, my friend likes you. He. And like, you know, then she ran back to her friend. My friend wants to date you. He. They ran back to the girl, and they're like, stop it, no, you're so mean. And I was like, yeah, you just shaped my fucking sex life for the rest of my life. That one moment of a girl using me as a prank to try to embarrass her other friend, who, you know, obviously was not interested in me. I mean, maybe I read the whole situation wrong. Maybe I had an opportunity for a 7th grade threesome right there and then. I could have just had both of those girls. I would have gone crazy. But no. The that experience like literally shaped my view of like how attractive I was, how appealing I was to women. So therefore, like, I destroyed like any idea that anybody would be interested in me sexually. So I feel like me talking about sex it's kind of I've been denied it, right, my entire life. Just it's like no. So yeah, that's why I'm not against sex in movies. It's like it's part of real life. Maybe we should cut back the number of murders in movies. How about that? How about a number of people getting killed? Like I think more people have sex than people get shot in the face. So I don't know. There's my talk on it. Porn will mess you up psychologically, hence no wonder the dark humor. LMAO. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. No, I mean, you're not wrong. There's no shades. The problem is the shades of understanding, or the shades of context. Whereas I think maybe you're taking a puritanical stance on it. And I don't believe that. I think that's a worse take than to say like, well, no, it's just reality. But the thing is also, I find it ironic. I mean, maybe you have the opinion that there should be fewer people getting killed in movies. Maybe you'll take that take as well. But I find that kind of hypocritical that we were so anti-sex and yet so perfectly okay with having people just being mowed down and gunned down like left and right, and celebrate those movies as awesome. Like for me, I got in trouble for saying I really did not like Squid Game. Like I hated Squid Game. I hated that show. And the reason why I hated it was the wholesale slaughter of people in that show deeply bothered me. Like seriously deeply bothered me. Like the first scene with the red light, green light was like the killing fields, and it just it so hurt me, like emotionally. Like, and that's celebrated? And that's celebrated? I don't like sex scenes in media, and honestly, depends on how they're done. I don't, you can have a really bad action scene. You can have a really bad sex scene. You can have a pointless action scene. You can have pointless sex scenes. Sorry that happened to you. It is what it is. Life it is. Interviewer, but why so much sex in your movie? You're talking about the Quentin Tarantino. But why so much sex in your movies? Yes, because it's so much fun, Jan. Good comeback there. Good comeback. Because it's so much fun. The impact of porn and violence in films depends on the culture being watched in. Yeah, I agree with that. It's not simple. Do I think that porn is a problem for some people? Absolutely. Do I think alcohol is a problem for some people? Absolutely. Do I think high sugar drinks are a problem for people? Absolutely. Do I think, the list can go on and 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 on. The U.S. is different than a lot of the rest of the world. Sure. Well, that's what makes the U.S. what it is. I don't want to just pick on the U.S. The U.S. has their own things. We do things a certain way, and other people do something a certain way, and some things we do better, some things we do worse. Honestly, that's the way the world works. Glad you mentioned. I find John Wick movies boring. Swear to God, I hate them, but I love the Commando and Predator. Yeah, I've gotten a little tired of John Wick as well. I'm not the first movie was good, and then it's just Yes, but those people you saw mowed down believed in the wrong and dangerous things. They were capitalists, guys. Don't you understand the metaphor, John? It's about a metaphor for capitalism. Capitalism is mowing people down. You're just afraid to recognize it, John. You just don't understand, actually. I felt like I was watching this as a piece of entertainment. And I mean, my friend was like, "Oh, it's so cartoony. It's not. You can't take it seriously." Maybe was it cartoony, or was it more like I used a lot of blood squibs in that shot? I mean, it didn't feel cartoony. It felt too visceral for me. We won't cancel you if you say about Kevin. I know about Kevin. Kevin is he's the guy that created the whole Avatar fisting thing. That's not good, Kevin. Kevin, look what you've done. Look what you've done to these people. It's sad. I'm just sad. Porn became a problem because I didn't have actual sex. And if you have sex regularly, I think porn is or that addictive. I think porn is not that addictive or problematic. You're probably not wrong. As I said, it's not black and white. None of these topics are black and white. Pauline Kael, back in 1971, lambasted Kubrick's use of violence in Clockwork Orange, and also increasingly brutality in movies. Then she was accused of desensitizing people. I mean, again, not entirely untrue, but the violence on screen is often too much and too realistic. I prefer it to be over the top, so it's funny, like in Commando. Yeah. Oh, there you go. I heard the last Tarantino movie will be about an Asian YouTube film critic. Huh. Who could they get to do that? I'm not really a film critic. I'm a filmmaker who just pontificates online. So maybe his Tarantino movie will be like about a YouTuber who talks about frame rate and who's half Asian and a little chubby, and not a little chubby, a little on the chunky side. He drinks whale lard for a soda, whale lard soda. It's gender fluid. Okay, that's a meow wolf joke. But the catch is, like, John, would you be in a studio movie? Would you direct a studio movie for $100 million? The catch is it has to be high frame rate. And the answer is I wouldn't even stop to think about it. I'd say yes. Give me the money. I'll take your money. Oh. I'll just make a high frame movie, make $100 million, and then just like walk away, and then hey, cool. I'll just come back with my next movie will be regular frame rates, but I'll have $100 million. So, fuck you. All right. There is the violence in physical blood, but also but the violence I'm interested at is implied violence, like Godfather Part 2, prostitute scene. Or even in, what's the movie, what's it called? Why is everyone texting me? Oh, they're texting about the show today. We're not supposed to meet up for another 40 minutes or so. What are they saying? I gotta check this out real quick. Traffic seems to be pretty close. Okay, I see what's going on. Well, luckily the theater is literally 5 minutes from my office, so I'm not worried about traffic. Sounds perfect for Scarlett Johansson, the Asian chubby. Exactly. I would love it. I would so love it if they hired Scarlett Johansson to play me. I would so love it. I would so freaking love that. Oh, that's a good comment. All right. There, in the sense that there are far more easily available movies and TV shows through streaming, digital stores, and internet in general. Yes, we viewers don't suffer as much. You guys are going back and forth. Okay, I will shut up. Sorry if I bother you. I don't even know what I don't. So part of it when I put my stuff on, put my stuff up is like I don't necessarily know what you guys are talking about, and I don't necessarily always see the viewer username. I just read stuff. So you're not bothering me. We're having fun. That's what today is all about. Fun. No one's bothering anybody. All right. So Rigel 7. I will hold out for infinite FPS. 20,000 is all you need. Once we get there, we're done. No more. But the strikes are nonetheless powerful. Okay, so we talk about strikes a little bit. That's what you guys are talking about. So yeah, hopefully they just settle. I don't know, man. I feel like it's like the last bastion of the old Hollywood, right? My friend was talking, another friend was talking about, why are they expecting royalties? Well, you expect royalties because if someone else is making a buttload of money off of your image, you might as well get a little bit of that action, right? If I sold my, most of these companies, though, they do have a clause that they can do a buyout contract. Was like, well, we own your image for this movie. You're not going to get any royalties. We're going to put all your royalties that you would make into your upfront payment, right? And there's that, and that could be, but that depends on how well the movie does and all that stuff. Or most times it's a commercial or something like that. But honestly, I don't know. I think streaming is unsustainable. Like I generally think that there's too much stuff on streaming. It's too much. So they're cannibalizing the time people have. And then the fact is, movies aren't the only form of entertainment people go to. You know, there's video games which are taking a huge chunk of people's time, so they don't have as much time to watch movies or TV shows. You know, so there's a lot competing for people's time. And I don't think the model of old Hollywood, where you could have these humongous movies and people becoming super, super rich off of them, you gotta have to go back to kind of like, well, just make a middle class existence, maybe an upper middle class existence, unless you're a major star or something. I just don't see. I don't see there's that much money. It's a dwindling money, so it needs to be, the thought process needs to be changed. That's what I think. Ever watch Battle Royale? Yes, I did. I thought Battle Royale was a lot better, honestly, than it was brutal, but it wasn't people getting slaughtered on the fields. And that scene bothered me the most, like a Squid Game. Like the rest didn't bother me as much. Like that whole scene just, I wasn't cool with that. It's not like high frame rate is evil ideology or something. What the evil ideology is, that high frame rate needs to replace everything. That's what the evil ideology is, and I see seeds of it in the discussions. It's like, you know, it's like, well, when the it wasn't Al Qaeda, it was the other one. What's the name of that? It's also the name of Archer's company. Whatever. But basically, they took over the Iraq, the museum, and they started like just destroying the antiquities. It's like that kind of shit. That's what I felt like dealing with the high frame rate folks. They were just wanting to smash and burn, and that wasn't cool. I'm not cool with that. Yeah, Barbenheimer has made theaters. I think Barbenheimer marks the end of the COVID times for theater, hopefully. Like, hopefully people are like, hey, I can go to the movie theaters. It's a hot summer in California. It's a hot summer, I think, throughout the U.S. Go to the movie theater. Sit in an air-conditioned room, watch a movie. John, can you please live stream from Mexico, just color graded yellow? Yeah, I could do that. Hey, Filmmaker, there's a great YouTube video about Batman, TAS, the cartoon, and the action. Yeah, I saw that one. I saw that Batman, the animated series, is a great documentary. It talked about how also, you know, coming off of like the Justice League serials in the 70s were just goofy, you know, really poorly drawn animation from the Justice League stuff. You know, to go to the Batman the Animated Series was just considered, you know, a classic now by today's standards. Like that cemented Batman. It basically informed the Batman for everything to come. I'm obviously, if you can tell, I'm a huge fan of Batman. Like I'm not against violence. I'm against just, you know, mowing people down. It wasn't fun. Like Tarantino, I like the Tarantino. I want fun violence. I want to see fun violence. That mowing scene was not fun to me. It was really tough. Rick Beato said that AI would be disruptive to the music business as file sharing was 20. Yeah, I think it's across all entertainment. It is. But what I think humans are having a hard enough time writing stuff that I'm interested in. I think AI is not going to help. Like I said, I've seen AI try to write a script, and it's awful. It's awful. It's really bad because AI just takes the most generic path. Now, AI might be useful for creating like the start of an idea, like seeding an idea. Like, oh, I didn't think of it that way, you know, or use AI. A friend of mine uses AI to do like research. So what he does is he starts and he says, don't use the free ChatGPT. The free ChatGPT sucks. Use the paid version, and then you have to constantly be crafting your prompt, and then on top of that, don't trust it. Verify it. Like use it as a tool to kind of as sort of a cloud. Like I have an idea. I want to talk about frame rate. Okay, start pulling these ideas, and then okay, let's go down this side. So use it as a way to kind of generate directions and paths. But don't actually use it. Don't actually use it and stuff. It's not a final thing. I have told this story before, but I do teach. I'm going to start teaching here, so I got to get ready to. I got to get my class schedule ready. But one of the students turned in a Chat GPT answer. So every week I have them watch. Like, tell me something you watched. It can be a movie. It can be a TV show. It can be a YouTube video. It can be a commercial. Well, tell me something you watched that like got you thinking. Just in 100 words, write it down. And so he turned in this thing, and it's like the environmental impact of sustainable, oil extraction is not really readily available. It was like, dude. And I get to the second paragraph. As a large model learning analysis tool, I'm unable to make an opinion on this. I'm like, dude, you had ChatGPT write your essay, and then you turned your essay into the wrong class. There's 11:30. On that note, we'll take a couple and then I'll get going. It's almost 11:30, John. Yep, I just heard my alarm go off. Let's see. Except HFR is not according to promote. I mean, accepting pay to use HFR is not like accepting paid to promote communism. Oh yeah, sure, whatever. And Batman is the gold standard of Batman media. It really. I mean, the movies that have come out. I think the Batman universe movies are. They've taken that Batman anime series and moved it forward. So I really think it's awesome. It's one of the best things that happened to Batman. I love the part where Django Unchained shoots a lady, she goes flying to the other room. That's the kind of violence, yeah. And Rigel 7 quotes me, "I'm not against violence," says Hess. "It's fun." Especially, add the part, especially when it's done to minorities and children. God. Joking. Now, watch that get clipped out. All right, whatever. It's my life. I think Hollywood will decrease the amount of big blockbusters model for mostly low to mid. I hope it does. I hope we go for less is more. Like A24 is the only studio that's interesting to watch, right? All right, so that will be that. I have to get going because it's hot and I'm sweaty already. I don't know. I'm going to try to do some stuff this week, but it's like a lot of work I got to do and a lot of shows. I got to get my class ready too, so that's coming up here. Other than that, that's really all I got to say. Let's see. I got to turn off the stream. All right. So yeah, that's why I have to get going and do 2 shows, and that's it for me today. All right, guys. Till next time, go out there and make something great. I'm John Hess. I'll see you next week, probably next week for a stream. I don't think I have a video ready, but I'll see you next week. Filmmaker Q. Bye-bye. Ta-ta. Fade to black.